If you're thinking of starting or growing a business, I'm going to assume that you're really good at something. You might be an amazing designer or a copywriter, or you might make the best iced matcha in your neighborhood. However, I am devastated to report that being really good at what you do is not enough to have a successful and flourishing business. Being fantastic at your craft is only about half of what you need. The other half is like a weird mishmash of skills that you would never expect to need. So in this video, I'm going to share the 6 most unexpected skills that you will need to learn if you want to start a business. Let's get into it. The first skill is copywriting. Before taking my own small business seriously, I thought that copywriting was just for agencies or people trying to sell you protein powder on Instagram. I was wrong. Copywriting is absolutely critical for any business. Every time that you write a caption or any time that you write an email to someone trying to convince them to book a call with you, you're not just writing, you are writing copy. And in this context, copy is anything that is written with a specific goal to compel you to do something. And that might be to click on the follow button or subscribe to your newsletter or compel you to buy something from your store. It is through copy that you are able to connect with your audience and hopefully find the next future customer. So if your about page sounds like it was written by a robot having a panic attack, or if your emails are a snooze fest, then we have a problem here. Copywriting is how people connect with you, trust you, and eventually buy from you. I recommend following Laura Belgray. She is an amazing copywriter. She's hilarious, and she teaches tips and tricks on how to sound like yourself, even though you're writing copy for your business. The second skill to learn is facilitation. Plot twist, you're not just a service provider now, you're also a facilitator. Especially now if you're doing one-on-one work, coaching, consulting, design, strategy, you are now in the business of leading conversations. You're not just purely delivering work. This means helping people articulate what they want even when they might not know it yet. It means guiding them through a decision or even holding space for a tricky process. And nobody told me how emotionally intense this kind of work would be. When you facilitate, you are essentially managing energy. You are potentially navigating conflict even, and you're making sure that the right stuff is said so that the right decision is made. If you plan to work with teams and bring the best out of them, facilitation is a key skill that you need to master. And when I do it, I often feel exhausted at the end of the day, but it's also one of the most rewarding things that I do. The third skill is strategic thinking. Running your own business forces you to go way beyond just being a very good technician. And by that mean someone who has just mastered one skill. You always have to think 3 steps ahead. What am I building here? What is my business model? Who do I want to sell to? Who do I want to work with? Where am I going? What's the direction? Where do I want to be 6 months, 12 months from today? And what needs to change in order for that to happen? You'll have to learn to zoom out, look at trends, question your assumptions, and make decisions without knowing all of the information. This can feel quite lonely, especially if it's just you running the joint and you haven't hired any team members yet. I have sat many hours at my desk just thinking about what strategy to take and what offer to launch next with only my dog to talk to. However, strategic thinking is an absolute necessity. You have to learn to make space for it. You can't just work in the business, just delivering the work and doing the admin. You also have to carve out time to work on the business. Take a step back from the day-to-day and make sure you're still going in the direction that you want to go. Skill number 4 is self-promotion. This is going to be the toughest skill to learn if you're an introvert. The biggest bummer of self-employment is that people are not going to buy from you if they don't know who you are. You might be the absolute best in the world at your craft. You're not going to get sales if you don't talk about what you do. And no one else is going to do it for you, or at least not at the very beginning. You will have to push through the initial discomfort of just showing up consistently and saying, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is why it matters, without cringing, without apologizing for it, and without waiting for permission. And I guess the good news is that you don't need to do a trendy dance on TikTok unless that's your thing, but you need to find a way to talk about what you do in a way that feels like you're still being yourself. Because just hiding behind your work and just crossing your fingers and hoping that someone will find you is just not a sustainable strategy. The 5th skill that you will need to learn is to set boundaries and make decisions. Making decisions and setting boundaries like a CEO is a skill. And to do this, you will need to step away from people pleasing. You will need to learn how to say no, because you will find out very soon, if you don't know already, that time is not limitless. There's only so much that you can do with what you have, and you will have to start budgeting your time in the same way that you budget for your money. That means deciding when you work, with whom you work, and how you work. And you will need to be able to stick to these decisions even when people might push back on them. Might this lead to people not working with you? Sure. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We can't be right for everybody. And so you should only aim to work with people who actually get you and get your work and value what you do. Skill number 6, managing your energy, not just your time. Did you know that we're not robots? As an actual human being running my own business, my energy is my most precious resource. And yeah, you can plan your week and slot everything in your calendar and draw up the most beautiful Notion dashboard. But if your brain is fried and your nervous system is shot and you haven't moved in 7 hours, that to-do list is just not getting done. Managing your energy means knowing when you do your best thinking and creative work, designing your schedule around your natural rhythm, and then you build in the rest, including white space and CEO time. What I try to avoid at all costs is having days filled with back-to-back client meetings. That's a recipe for burnout. Also, don't fall into the trap of thinking that you're one productivity tool away from the magic solution. It's less about using the right tool and more about just understanding a little bit better how your own energy works and how to schedule the work in a way that brings the best out of you. And there you go. Those were the 6 most unexpected skills that I had to learn when I started my own business. If you enjoyed this video, you should watch this one over here, where I talk about whether you should leave your 9-to-5 to become an entrepreneur. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope that you will like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye!